Morrison's. First time I've actually moved the van in a fortnight. I've done this month, I think we're on the 15th now, aren't we, or something. I've done a total of 7 miles. The simple reason, being in the motorhome, I can't bloody move, the coppers are all over me. So I've restricted my movements as best I can, but I've still got to come out for food, water and gas. And also you've got to think about the toilet cassette, emptying that, which is probably the hardest thing to do, because all the campsites are closed, so I can't go on and pay me £3 to use a couple of the facilities, i.e. fill up my water, empty my cassette, and on occasions have a shower as well. So it leaves me with a bit of dilemma, you know. And part of the result of that at the moment is that I'm eating a lot less, because obviously the more you eat and the more you drink, the more you need your toilet facilities. Having a wee isn't such a bad issue. I can use a bottle to have a wee on, to have a wee in, and deposit that discreetly somewhere. That's not a major issue. The issue of the solids is becoming an issue. I do have people that have said I can lift their manhole covers in the gardens and deposit my waste that way, which is very nice for people. It's a bit, I suppose in one way it's a bit embarrassing to do, but needs must. The only thing that would concern me about that, without being rude or dirty, when solid human waste goes cold, it increases in weight and it's harder to shift in the toilet system. So the last thing I want to do is open a manhole cover and deposit a week's worth of solids and not have any hose pipe or water pipe to actually push the solids down the drain. So you know, it's a bit of a catch-22. What do we do? Anyway, I'm going back to the lay-by where I spent the last 16 nights now. I went there at the end of March, and was approached by 2 police vehicles, one on the way down there and one while I've been in there. And I did say to them, surely it's a wiser decision to leave allocated a place for up to about 30 caravanners and motorhomes that are out full time. I presume we've got facilities there as well, which is a good idea. But that's way down south. That'll be me travelling a full day to go somewhere, and I'm not going to be doing that. In fact, they won't let me do that, so it's not a case of I'm not going to be doing that. I don't know. I've got a note in my window telling them that this is my main home. It's alright people saying go home where you come from. I haven't got a home where I come from. This is my home, and legally by law I can. There is no law against living in a motorhome. They do make it very difficult for you. I do have 2 registered addresses, one where my driving licence is and one where the taxman gets in touch with me, and I pay the correct insurance for being a continuous traveller. So there's nothing, I'm doing absolutely nothing wrong. But anyway, I've put a couple of signs in the window just explaining the situation, and I'm doing everything requested by the government to self-isolate, and will only travel to get supplies. And there's another note there, please note this is my only home, and it gives me age as well, and that I have a heart condition, and I'm also registered at the local doctors, and I get my prescribed tablets from the local chemists. So you know, it's not, they seem to think you're bunking off out here for a bloody holiday. Well, if it was on a holiday, I wouldn't be sat for 14 days in one lay-by. But anyway, the upside to it is it's actually quite peaceful. I've had 1 or 2 car drivers pull up next to you and give you a bit of a snarl, and they've obviously took the registration numbers, because they're informing the police that there's motorhomes out and about somewhere, and they've even informed the police on a friend of mine who lives in Widmouth Bay in a house, and he's been there in this particular house, him and his wife, I think over 12 months now. Somebody even told the police that they're holiday makers, and the police have been round to see them. I mean, come on, we're all in the same boat here. But if it's that bad, why the bloody hell are they out driving around looking for people to snitch on? So they're breaking the code, the conduct code anyway, aren't they, by going out for a leisurely drive in and out of laybys and looking for people that are in and around what they deem to be a holiday home. It's bleeding ridiculous, really. It is. And this rubbish about them walking down the aisles in Morrison's, watching you buying a packet of biscuits and chocolate, and deeming that not to be necessary. If you're out for your once a fortnight or once a week shop, and the likes of Morrison's and other places offer food for sale, you can buy it. If they don't want them to sell sweets, biscuits and Easter eggs and beer and everything else, tell them to stop stocking it, and then we can't buy it. But surely while it's there, it's on the shelves, and I haven't just gone in for a bar of bloody chocolate, I've gone in to do my fortnight shopping. I should be able to include some treats on my shopping list for me. And what's to say, you know, that's not my only diet. For all they know, I might live on beer and chocolate. Why not? plenty of people do. So if that's my staple diet, that's what I'm out shopping for. So why should there be a restriction on something like that? You know, it's not fair, really. I'm doing my bit, and 99% of the population are doing the bit, because the last thing we want to do, we don't want to catch this disease. I mean, I'm 65. I don't want to catch this disease and pop me clogs. You know, and I don't know if I'm a carrier. I don't know how this disease works, but it's a bit unfair to single people out. I mean, there's loads of people probably in this country that are 300, 400, 500 miles away from the home that have been caught out in the conditions. Technically, in their books or in their eyes, I'm one of them. But I haven't got bricks and mortar to a home to go to as you know, as such. But it must be stressful for people. I don't usually get stressed about anything like this. I mean, the solitude of what's happening now is right up my street. I love it. I love the roads being empty. I love the lay-bys being empty. I don't like the hustle and bustle anyway. So it suits me down to the ground, but I do object to the same police vehicle stopping me 3 times, asking me what I'm doing, you know, and I do object to the locals who know me. This particular lay-by I'm in, there's one farm on the left-hand side of me which I'm visible to. The lay-by runs along his field, and there's a house 150 yards across the other side of the road in front of me, and I've known that couple for 6 years, and they're one of the people that are allowing me to draw water and use the drainage system if I need to. And in fact, I'd like to say a big thank you, because on Easter Sunday they brought me a Sunday lunch complete with Easter egg and a can of beer, and that's wonderful. And that isn't the first time they've made an absolutely wonderful gesture like that to me. You know, if somebody pulled up here and they had no food in the van and they had no money to get any food, I'd go in my fridge and ask them what they wanted. I'd gladly share mine with them, and I would. And it's nice to think that somebody would do that for me. It's not very often the case. I sometimes I feel like I was always the one giving and never receiving, but since I've been out on the road, it's a different story altogether. There's a lot of people that are so willing. I had somebody who runs the food bank around here, and they've approached me and they said, here's my phone number, if you're ever stuck for food, just give us a shout and we'll bring something up for you. We don't know what it'll be, because they don't know what they get donated on any given day. He said, but we'll bring supplies up for you and we'll do anything we can to help you. I mean, you know, that's great, isn't it? That's how it should be. We should all help each other. We should all help each other at the end of the day. We should, but there's so many selfish people knocking about. I'm in a good position where I can see everything that goes on. I can see the amount of cars that are going. In fact, while I'm talking now, there's one works van which has pulled up, which is no problem. There's a works van. There's a Sainsbury's van just pulled up in front of me, and behind them there's 3 cars, and each car has got two males in and 1 female, and they're all out of the cars, gathered in between the cars talking, you know. And I'm scared of going and sitting on one of the benches and fiddling, doing anything on one of the benches, because the restrictions say you should stay in. I'm usually in the lay-by that is totally deserted, but these are obviously doing whatever they're doing. rather sitting on a picnic bench which is 20 paces away from my van, in case they want to slap a fine on me for breaking the rules. I mean, it's just not on. You might have seen that one of the vans go past then on the video. One of the cars has gone as well. The other two are still there yapping at each other. But yeah, I mean, what do we do? If we can't help each other, it's sad, isn't it? The human race is awful, really. At times, sometimes it's wonderful. A small majority are wonderful. The bigger majority are the arseholes and the selfish bastards, and the twats who leave notes on your van and who try to get into your trailer and who snarl at you or swerve at you in the bloody vehicle and daft things like that. You know, it's crazy. It's just not on. It's sad, and you know, it took me a long time to get to be sociable. I always I never really liked the human race for a long time. I've always been a loner. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a loner, enjoying your own company and just doing what you want to do. I've always been like that. That's why I took up fishing, so I could get out in the open and be in places where I was on my own. And I've been fishing since I was about 5, canal fishing and river fishing, and now I do the fly fishing. It allows you that escapism, but that escapism to me is how my life should be and is how I want to be. That's why I gave everything up to do what I'm doing. I'm sat here now and I've got an absolutely beautiful view right across the Devon and Cornwall, right across as far as the eye can see. You've got the hill ranges, not really mountain ranges. I've got the hill ranges, I can look through it with the binoculars. I've got the valley in front of me, which is all open farm fields. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buildings in my eyesight, which is stretching a hell of a long way. I can see six buildings, and I think 4 of them are farms or farm units. This is what I want to do. I don't want to sit in my front room counting the bricks on the house across the road, or go and sit in what used to be my office in the back room and count the bricks on the house at the back. You know, I never wanted to do that. I never wanted to do that. This is what I was born to be. I was born to be a bit of a Romany and a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of an outcast, I suppose. It suits me fine, but making that move, let me just turn the camera. Making that move has given me a new life. It's opened up everything to me. It's made me realise that people are nice, and it was probably me being awful more than it was people being awful to me. I was probably the one that had snarl and be ignorant and arrogant in the first place. It's made me realise now that since I've been out, that 99% of the people I've spoke to all over the country, and when I first come out for the first 2 years, I was all over the place. I touched every inch of the country, and I never really met one bad person. Never really met anybody who was bad, and they were all nice, they were all talkative, and they were interesting. And they were interested in you, they're interested in what you do, how you do it. And they all ask the same questions. Oh, isn't it cold in your van in the winter? You know, the van's got central heating. I've got a Calagas permanent Calagas fire set up as well. I've got hot air blown heating, I can get hot water. It's no colder than you sitting in a big room with just your living room fire on, and you get yourself close to it so you get as warm as possible. It's no worse than that. Unfortunately, when they make the vans, they have that many safety air holes in them in case there's gas leakages, and every cupboard's got an air hole and things like that. And of course, when the wind blows, it produces a draft, so you know, it's no different. It's better being like this than it would be living in a flat. Okay, I can store more stuff. But I walked away from a lot of the people who know me. I walked away from a good collection of motorbikes, an absolutely fantastic workshop, an awesome collection of Greg Bennett guitars, and every bit of hardware and software for guitars imaginable. I had everything, absolutely everything I wanted. I never wanted for anything in that sense. Do I miss it? Not at all. Not at all. I don't hanker for anything that I had in the past. I really don't wish I'd kept this or kept that. I come out with nothing. I come out with just my van and the proceeds from the house sale, and the proceeds from selling the bikes and things like that. No, I've still got an interest in the motorbikes. When I come out with my fishing gear, or I come out with all my fishing gear, I've now just got what I need. I sold the rest on a car boot, and I had a lot. I worked virtually a full season just selling fishing gear, and it was all good fishing gear, fly fishing gear, sea fishing gear, everything, coarse fishing. I did make one mistake. I got rid of all my coarse gear, and I've had to go out and buy another coarse rod. I've kept all my fly, well, not all my fly gear, I've kept all my favourite fly gear, fly fishing gear, but I just fancy doing a bit of canal fishing, and I realised I could have done it with the fly rod, but I realised I wanted a coarse rod, so I went out and bought a coarse rod and a few floats. But yeah, that's immaterial really. Anyway, yeah, it's sad times for everybody. I feel for everybody. I mean, I'm stuck in I can't walk on the road where I'm at, because last year I got hit by an hit and run driver on this road, and he sent me into the hedge rows. He didn't break my arm, he badly bruised my arm. The police never got him. I did put the report in, and somebody had actually seen the incident as well. But it hurt. At my age, it bloody hurt. It scared the bleeding life out of me, and I won't even attempt to walk on the road. I'm restricted to walking the length of the lay-by really. I don't think the farmer will let me walk round his bloody paddocks and out like that, so I'm quite restricted in here. There is a little shop, a little farm shop not far away. They're only open a couple of hours a week, and they do have coarse fishing ponds, or they don't, behind their premises. There's some very nice carp and coarse fishing ponds, which at the moment it's out of season, so I can't go there, and I don't think the police would like it if I said I'm going fishing. Got to conform, haven't you, as best you can. So anyway, which is a shame. It'd be ideal now in this situation. I can't see anything wrong with a dozen individuals sat round the bloody big lake fishing. I mean, that's still social distancing, isn't it? And I don't exactly have to drive to it. It's 500 yards behind me across the road, so there's no ways. There's no saying I drove a distance to get there. They need to rethink this a little bit. You've got all these cliff tops round here, and the locals are confined to just basically walking around where they live. The police are on you. I've been down there today to get rid of me rubbish and me waste, and then go to Morrison's, and there's nobody out, there's nobody on the car park, there's nobody walking. You can see the cliff tops, there's nobody walking on the cliff tops. And God, if they kept 2 metres apart, like they're asking, why can't they go and sit out on the cliff tops and stay 2 metres apart? It's easy, innit? It's a simple policy. Stay 2 metres apart from people you don't know. If you don't, we'll find you. You can go where you want and do what you want, but stay 2 metres apart and don't have a party. I.e., don't go in like the bowling alley or in a pub, but they're all closed. But yeah, by all means, you can walk along the cliff tops, the cliff walks, and you can walk along the beaches. There's plenty of room. Stay 2 metres apart. And why stop them surfing? What harm are people doing surfing, for God's sake? You've got a fistful, maybe 20. Out of season, at the most, you'd have 20 people at any one time, at the most, on the beaches or on the surfboards in the water. Who are they going to come in contact with, for God's sake? Why make it difficult? And this is why people hate the police force at the moment, because the police force are bending the rules that the government are asking us to conform to. They're bending it. The government haven't says you can only go out once a day. Actually, with me saying that, I'm going to correct myself here. I do believe Boris Johnson said that the other day. But if you get I can't say it. You go on Google and put in the rules and regulations. Legislation, isn't it? I'm sorry. You go in and tap the rules and regulations for what the government expects of you, and there's no restrictions on the amount of times you can go out to exercise. They do ask you to stay close to home. How do you define close from home? Walking distance or a small drive. You've got loads of pensioners who want to walk, and they probably can't walk up some of the hills to get to the place where they want to walk, so they really need to use the car to go there. That's understandable. But the police say you can only go out once a day for exercise. You can't only go out once a day for exercise at all. You can go out as and when you need to, but they do suggest, the government do suggest, that you take exercise close to your homes, and don't drive too far. Don't drive too far. They don't say don't drive to go anywhere to exercise. Don't drive too far. Now, the people that live in and around here, especially the ones with the sea views and the beach views, they're scared of going out, walking the dogs on the beach or to the beach or on the walks, on the coastal path walks and things like that. They're scared of it. It's bloody crazy. It's crazy. I agree with what they're doing to confine the virus. I do agree with that. It's a bloody good idea, and if it's got to be done like that, it's got to be done. But there's got to be a limitation. There's got to be a limitation. I mean, all they need to do is take a book out of you go into Morrison's and you follow that rules and regulations. You stay 2 meters apart. You try not to cross over somebody's path. You can only go one way around the shop, and then you stand in an organised queue, and then you're told which till to go to. That works, and everybody's complying to that. Everybody at the petrol stations is complying to the rules and regulations. So if you can control a number of people in quite a large shop, I'm sure you can control the same number of people in 3,000 to 4,000 million acres of bleeding grassland. You know, this, you can't go and sit on a park bench. You can't go for a walk and sit on the park and sit in the sun. You can't sunbathe. Why can't they sunbathe? If they've been out, if you're allowed out, you're allowed out. If I'm allowed to go shopping, that means I join the public. I go out in my vehicle, or if I could walk from here, I'd walk here. I'd walk past people, I'd walk past houses, I'd walk past schools, I'd do the shopping with other people. If you're going to catch it, you're going to catch it anywhere. You've got more chance of catching it if it's 3 people in a massive Morrison's than you have of catching it sat on a cliff top eating your sandwiches and there's 50 people in your eyesight. You've more chance of catching the disease in Morrison's or in any shop. You know, sanitising. I've been to Morrison's today. There's no sanitising stuff for the baskets. I didn't see any for the trolleys. There's no wet wipes being issued out to wipe the baskets. You know, the people on the till, they're masked up. They're not. I don't think they're gloved up. So they're touching your food to price it, and then they're sliding it down to you, and you're picking it up to put in your bag. There you go. You know, there's one way of passing the disease over. You're walking in the same space and the same air as somebody else for 8 hours. If you go first thing in the morning, you've got the freshness of the air in the shop. If you go last thing at night, you've got the accumulation of everybody who has been in the shop, in the air, picking up bread and oh, I don't want that one, I'll have that one. Picking up a tin, no, I don't fancy that. Putting it down. Picking up this, oh no, I don't like that. Putting it down. Leaning on the counters with their hands. Oh come on, you know, let's have a bit of common sense. That's where everything's happening. You know, petrol station. There's no sanitary to pick the petrol pump up. Thousands of people are getting petrol every day. There's nothing there. I've not actually seen anybody wiping the nozzles down. I'm not saying they don't. I haven't seen anybody. I took a towel myself this morning and wrapped my towel around the nozzle to get me fuel for my generator. It's little things like that. If you're gonna catch it, you're gonna catch it. The best way is staying clear of people, isn't it? I've done a fortnight shopping, and I've come back to the same place because I know the police come down the lay-by. I have a security camera on, and it's on 24 hours, and it's night vision, so I know who comes in and out of the lay-bys. I know the police patrol the lay-bys. They haven't disturbed me since I've had a talk with them, or they've had a talk with me. I haven't done it, and I haven't moved. I've now moved twice. I've done 13 point something miles. I don't even know what, and that is in. I did say it before, didn't I? What date is it? Basically, that is in 17 days. It's the 14th today, isn't it? I've done not even a mile a day. I've been in this lay-by static now. And I don't mind it. I'm not tearing my hair out. I don't mind it. I enjoy it. But getting from here to the shops, which is just shy of 4 mile away, is a bleeding nightmare for me. Every corner I go around, I think the bleeding police are going to be there. Every junction I come to, the police are going to be there. Go and park up, the police are going to be there. You park up in your motorhome, and it makes it worse because I've got a trailer on it at the moment. It does look like I've put all my stuff in and I've come out to self-isolate. And you're getting looks. Go past people on the pavement and you look in your mirror and they're turning around looking at you. You know, it's crazy. It's just not right. We're all in a situation, regardless of who you are. It doesn't matter, even the multimillionaires, the superstars are restricted to movement. And they're taking it on the chin. They're all taking it on the chin. You know, there's people that are thousands of miles away from the family, and they really want to be with the family. You know, and there's nothing they can do about it, so they're accepting it. And that's how you should do it. If it's somebody, I mean, okay, apparently they say they've got all the homeless people into some form of shelters now, which is good. It's good for the homeless people, not, you know, but they haven't got them all. I mean, if they wanted to be strong-armed, they could carry me away. But I'm houseless, I'm not homeless. I'm less trouble being here than I would be being forced to go somewhere else, because I wouldn't take it, you know. And I'm one of thousands of people. What about the travellers? You know, even the rough ones. I'm not going to quote nicknames for the travellers or anything like that. But there's good and bad in everybody. You know, they can herd the travellers onto fields and say, right, you stay put there. And they'll probably be quite thankful for them doing that, because it means they've not got the stress of being pissed about and moved on and bullied every night when they're travelling going somewhere else. So to them, being confined on a site wouldn't be a major issue to them. They'd probably enjoy the break of the war that they're having, and the true roaming is. And you know, what about the backpackers that are walking around the country now? What are they doing? You know, because don't tell me there isn't any. I've seen 2 this morning that have just come off the cliffs with the tents on and that, and they look like they're walking the coastal paths. They're out. How can you force them to go home? And why should you force them to go home? You know, I don't understand it. I really don't understand the mentality of the police force being so obnoxious and unkind. But I will hold my hands up and say that the two policemen that seen me here and come and spoke to me were brilliant. The 2 policemen that moved me from another lay-by were absolutely obnoxious, absolutely just spoiling for a fight, so they could arrest you and detain you. They were just spoiling for a fight. Why have I got a trailer on? What's in your trailer? What are you doing out here? Why are you out here? When did you come here? I said, well, actually I come 2,190 days ago, officer. Would you like a calculator to work that out, officer? I said, so I would, in a sense, consider myself part of the community. I'm certainly known by the biggest majority of the community. And anyway, I thought I don't want the confrontation. I'll just piss off and go somewhere else. And that brought me back closer to the amenities, because where I was, I won't tell you where I was, but where I was, I had no amenities within 8 miles or something like that. So I would, after a week, because I wasn't really prepared at that time, I would have been stuck. So I thought the best thing to do is come back. I nearly said it. Come back closer to home. Yeah, come back closer to home. So I can reach the facilities, and if I can't, I can just pick my phone up and phone some of my friends that I've got around here, and they would come and help me out. Yeah, it's okay. That's enough. I've waffled on for God knows how long now. But I've got it off my chest. If I'm gonna, yeah, I've got it off my chest. I'm gonna have a cup of tea now and a butty. It's nice and sunny out there. It's a bit windy. It's nice and sunny. It's a bit. It's not misty. It's very hazy, I think, because the heat's coming off. The heat's meeting the cold, isn't it? And it's a little bit hazy, but I've still got a cracking view. So I've got a chance sitting on the bench, having my butty. Bye bye.